So are you struggling to write your PMP application? Take it from my own personal experience, but writing your PMP application can feel really intimidating and nerve-wracking, especially if you're not sure how to get started or how to write each of your project descriptions the right way. The fear of having your PMP application rejected by PMI is even worse, especially since it's the only thing that's holding you back from scheduling your actual PMP exam. So in today's video, I'm walking you through step by step the entire PMP application process and how to write your project descriptions the easy way. So let's get started. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Alvin, helping you become certified in project management and passing your PMP exam. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash that like button so you don't miss any of my future upcoming videos. Today, I'm very excited because we're going to take a deep dive into the PMP application process because it's something that caused me so many headaches and frustrations when I was applying to take my own PMP exam. This is a video that I personally wish I had so that I knew how to get started the right way. So learn from all of my mistakes and my own personal journey so you can eliminate all of the hassles and the many frustrations that I personally experienced. And also, don't forget to stick until the end of today's video to sign up for my free PMP application step-by-step cheat sheet that demystifies the entire PMP application process and contains all of my recommended strategies so you can write your project experience successfully and minimize your risk of being audited by PMI. The first biggest lesson is to do a project inventory check before you even get started. To fill out your PMP application on PMI's website, the very first thing that you should do is an inventory check of your past project experience in your professional working career. Keep in mind that once you start filling out your application on PMI's website, you have 90 days to complete it. So I personally recommend doing an inventory check of your past experience in terms of projects before you begin filling out your application online. To qualify to take the PMP certification, if you have a bachelor's degree, it could be engineering, operations, business administration, marketing, etc., PMI requires you to have a minimum of 3 years of non-overlapping professional project management experience. Now that sounds very overwhelming and confusing, so let me explain. PMI does not state that your job title must be a project manager. As a matter of fact, your job title could be an engineer, marketing associate, analyst, or planner. The only thing that matters is that you need to demonstrate the 3 years of experience with leading and directing projects per PMI's PMP exam content outline and the PMBOK methodology. So with my own PMP application as an example, I was an engineer before I became a project manager. So on my application, I listed my job title as an engineer, but on the project descriptions in the application itself, I listed that I was the project lead for these projects because I actually led and I directed the projects through all stages of the project management lifecycle. Now, does my experience resonate with you, and are you in a similar situation? If you are, then you don't have to worry if you're not yet a project manager because I was in the exact same situation as you and my PMP application was successfully approved by PMI. But what exactly does non-overlapping experience mean? Let's take the following made-up example. Project 1 started on January 1, 2018 and finished on December 31, 2019. However, Project 2 started from February 1, 2018 and ended on September 30, 2019. Both Projects 1 and 2 have overlapping experience from February 2018 to September of 2019. So, what this means is you do not want to list both of these projects on your PMP application. Only list the first project on your application since it incorporates the same length of experience as Project 2. Now, let's take a look at Project 3. It starts on April 1, 2019 and ends on December 31, 2021. When you compare Project 3 to Project 1, the only overlapping experience is 9 months from April to December of 2019. The entire year of 2020 is completely non-overlapping for Project 3. Remember, PMI states that you can only count non-overlapping experience in your PMP application. In other words, you cannot double count experience which overlaps. So the key takeaway here is do a very thorough historical inventory check of all of the projects that you led and managed over the past few years. List them out along with their start and due date and focus on only including the projects which have a long duration and are non-overlapping. Be very selective with which projects you decide to include on your PMP application so that it doesn't contain a full-blown list of 10 to 20 projects. The second biggest lesson with listing out your projects is to make sure that you draft your project experiences first. After you've identified your entire list of projects which meet the 3 years of required project management experience, dedicate an entire weekend and a few days to start writing drafts of your project descriptions. If it's been a while since you've worked on these projects, it might take you a little bit longer than a week to create these drafts. But the key point here is simply to get started. Look at previous project documents, project charters, presentations, and project management plans that you've created and start writing down high-level descriptions for each of the projects that you worked on. You want to refresh your memory on how you served as a project lead or a project manager for each of the projects. You want to be able to explain in your own words what the project's goals and the objectives are, how many stakeholders were on the project, what the project's budget was, as well as what your responsibilities and the specific deliverables are. A great way to get started is to open up Microsoft Word, use the following template, and fill this out as if you were writing mini paragraphs for each of these sections. The project objective, the project outcome, your role, your responsibilities, and the project deliverables. If you approach each project description that you have to write as a mini paragraph, then it will feel much less intimidating and more easier to write. Now, I do want to emphasize that when you're writing out your responsibilities, make sure that you use vocabulary and terms from the PMBOK guide and the exam content outline to demonstrate that you've led and managed the projects using PMI's terminology, because that is what they are looking for in your application. So for example, use key terms such as the issue log, the risk register, project management plan, network diagram, or the RACI matrix, just to name a few, when you're describing project activities that you've led. Let's go through this example to help get you started in the right direction. During the initiation phase of the project, I created the project charter and obtained approval from the project sponsor. Using a stakeholder register and by conducting interviews with each department, I identified all key stakeholders as well as high-level project risks and timelines. You would then repeat this for the other phases of the project through planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and lastly, closing. The third biggest lesson is to prepare in advance for your PMP application audit by identifying contacts for each of your projects who can attest to and verify your actual project management experience. After you submit your PMP application, it takes approximately 5 days from PMI to review your application after you submit it. If your application is selected for an audit, then you will have 90 days to send in your audit materials. To help avoid getting blindsided, if you're selected for an audit, I highly encourage and I recommend that you identify contacts for each of your projects who can speak on behalf of your experience and attest that you've managed and you led those projects. It could be your manager or your project sponsor. I personally recommend notifying them before you submit the application so that they're made aware in advance. And that way, you don't have to scramble to get their signatures to verify your project experience if you are indeed selected for an audit by PMI. Remember, if I passed my own PMP application and was not audited by PMI, then I know that you can do it as well. If you need additional help getting started with writing your PMP application, go ahead and download my free PMP application step-by-step cheat sheet over at alvinthepm.com/cheat sheet. If you're struggling to write your PMP application and getting started with your PMP certification journey, definitely check out my other videos by clicking or tapping the screen over here, where I break down the biggest mistakes that you want to avoid when you're writing your PMP application. Otherwise, it's Alvin helping you become certified in project management, and we'll talk soon in the next video.